Coming up next on this edition of In the City. With summer in full swing, a program was held to discuss the importance of staying safe on our waterways. Also, the Water Resources Recovery Facility talks about what they're going to do to stay ahead of the city's growth. Plus, St. Clair Senior Center shares vital information with their vendor fair. And a much-deserved monument is erected at Evergreen Cemetery. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. A program at Cannonsburgh Village had local partners who provided information and resources for the public to provide safety on Tennessee waterways.
The Stones River Watershed Association hosted a Safe Paddling on Tennessee Waterways program. Partners from the area came together to provide information to help be safe while canoeing or kayaking on local waterways.
The goal today is to try and get the conversation going about what's happening on our waterways, how do we make sure that people are safe, how do they know how to read the river safely, what kind of educational materials are out there, what needs to be developed. And so this is kind of a joint effort and just a kind of a conversation tonight.
Boat Day is a safety program held every year by the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department with local water safety partners. The goal is to expand these safety programs throughout the year.
With everybody buying these boats and they're so cheap, how do we make sure that there's education beyond just that one day? It's hard to find the information, and it's hard. People don't understand where to go to check for the stream gauges. How do you understand the stream gauges?
Stream or river gauges is real-time information to inform the boater of water levels, which will directly affect the flow. A Stones River Watershed board member has gathered other vital information over the years.
I would go onto Google Maps, and I mapped every bit of the east, west, and middle forks of the Stones River. River segments, how long they were, accesses, put-ins, takeouts, how long it took to travel that distance at different water levels, and got that published on our website. And we also had the river gauges. Well, if you want to paddle a river, you need to know how much water's in it. Bends in the river where there might be strainers, it's trees that have fallen down that are dangerous.
Murfreesboro Fire Rescue also attended the program to discuss their role when there's an emergency on our waterways.
We have different disciplines within the city, and one of those disciplines is water rescue. Our Station 4 over on Medical Center Parkway, that is its major focus, or one of its major focuses is water rescue. So we have boats, we have our personnel that are trained up to certain levels to be able to come out and assist people that are in danger. The stream levels, how the water's flowing, it can sweep you away very easily. A lot of the incidents that we see here is people, they'll go out, they'll just buy a kayak, and they don't really have experience with it. So they think it's really easy. They get out there, they get on the water, don't realize what's going on, and they find themselves in trouble. I always try to paddle with a partner. I always try to go with someone. I always try to let someone know where you're putting in, where you plan on taking out, maybe how long you're going to plan on staying. That could be very helpful.
There's an app that Keith recommends any outdoor enthusiast download onto their phone. It's called What 3 Words. If you're in distress and you open the app, it will give you 3 words. When you give those 3 words to a 911 operator, that will give them your coordinates.
Just here recently, we've had people on the greenways, we've had boaters and things that put in those What 3 Words, send it to us, and then we're able to locate them within just a small radius, even a tighter radius really than what a tower can on a cell phone call.
My incentive in promoting this was if we could get people on the river and see the beauty of the river, they'd take ownership of the river and protect it.
We just encourage everybody to always have your life vests on. And what we don't want is for, a day that's supposed to be joyous with your family to turn into something that's unsafe.
To get water levels and topographical information on the waterway you're choosing to recreate in, go to stonesriverwatershed.org. Click on About the Watershed, and then scroll down to click on Continue Reading under Maps. There is also a lot of other information to help you explore the beautiful landscape here in Middle Tennessee.
For the next 5 to 10 years, the Murfreesboro Water Resources Recovery Facility will be doing some major renovations to the facility.
The Murfreesboro Water Resources Recovery Facility accepts and treats all the wastewater that goes down drains in homes and businesses. The facility is regulated by the federal and state governments. The City Council, City Manager, and the Water Resources Director also have priorities with the facility in customer service, innovation, financial viability, and product quality.
We use the plant, all the various processes to treat the water, and at the very end, it's a very high quality water. It's actually pretty amazing because for those of us that have been alive in the 70s, the water coming out of this plant meets the drinking water standards of the 70s. So that's pretty amazing revolution in technology.
I asked who the customers are for the Murfreesboro Water Resources Recovery Facility.
Every single person in the city, and some a little bit outside of the city, because we are the only game in town when it comes to sewer treatment. So when you think about that, just think when you got up this morning, you probably used the water 6 times. Take a shower, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, cook breakfast. So 6 times 160,000 people, right before breakfast, we've already done almost 1 million transactions with customers. We want the citizens to be living their lives. We want the businesses to be open, going full steam, and we are in the background taking care of that.
Having only one facility in Murfreesboro, I asked John how wastewater from all across Murfreesboro gets to the plant.
With Murfreesboro, we're relatively flat compared to most places. So we use a system of lift stations. We have more than most. So we can have, at one time we almost peaked out about 50, but we're consolidating some. We're closer to about 40 now. It runs via gravity to a certain point, and then it's lifted at a lift station to a higher elevation, and then runs gravity to the next point. We use those series and systems of lift stations to bring it all here to the plant. And at the plant, it's the same thing. Once it enters the plant, it is gravity using elevation and the natural forces brings it all the way through all of the processes of the plant.
There are 4 improvements that are planned in the next 5 to 10 years to help improve the facility and to keep up with the city's increasing population. One being a renovation of the biosolids polymer system. This is where a polymer or liquid is introduced to the wastewater, bonds with the solid material, so the solids can be removed from the water.
So we've had a biosolids recovery system for over 20 years, going into almost 25. The polymer is a coagulant. It bonds with the solids and enables the presses to remove it from the water. The water goes one way, a portion of the solids that we're trying to capture go another way. Ultimately, we were able to dispose of those.
One of the biggest challenges of a wastewater facility is to remove as much of the solids from the water so the water can stay in the system and the solids discarded. That's why the facility wants to add a thermal drying process.
When it's in the plant being treated, it's at about 1% solids. Then we send it through our dewatering presses. When we do that, it gets to about 13 to 15% solids. We might even get up to 17% in certain scenarios. What we want to do is take the next step, and that's thermal drying. That's going to get it to over 90% dry. At that point, it is like dirt. And once we make sure that all of the requirements have been met, it'll be classified by the state as Class A EQ, which means it's legally dirt. It can be applied anywhere dirt can be applied. And the beauty of this is that we will return it to the environment in a beneficial way. Now we've completed the environmental cycle.
With the increase of Murfreesboro's population every year, the facility plans to increase its capacity by 33%.
We're starting at 60 million gallons per day and trying to get to 80 million gallons per day. This really puts us in the big leagues for Tennessee. You're now talking about Memphis, Nashville, of course, but then Knoxville, Chattanooga, Murfreesboro. During Mother Nature's events, a big rainstorm. Some of that infiltrates the system. When it gets into the system, then it can come to the plant. We want to be able to handle all of that extra water. On a normal day, we might average, say, 18 million gallons a day. But on a heavy rain, it can get up in 40, 50, 60 million gallons a day. We've even had as high as 72 million gallons go through the plant. That's way above the design capacity of 60. But we want to be able to handle those 72 million gallon a day events. And this is part of it.
Lastly, there's a 5-year plan to overhaul the electrical infrastructure throughout the entire plant.
Some of the electrical infrastructure that is here today was put in say, 1972. Well, obviously, after 50 years, some of that stuff has reached the end of its life cycle. So we've developed a 5-year plan. We're going to go in 1 year at a time, renovate, upgrade, and fix major sections of the plant. And then over that 5 years, when we're done, the entire backbone electrical infrastructure will be upgraded and up to new, and hopefully we can get another 50 years. We now have a culture of forward-looking, of innovation, and that's the type of talent that we've seemed to have attracted, of really protecting the environment in sophisticated ways. And it's just ingrained in the way we do things in Murfreesboro. We've been very blessed to have the right talent, prosperous economy, and excellent attitude and partnerships with all of the people that we work with.
There was a great turnout for the St. Clair Vendor Fair that had some important information for seniors.
Seniors at St. Clair recently got the opportunity to find out about services offered in the community.
Today we are having our vendor fair at St. Clair Senior Center, and it's the first one we've been able to have since 2019, so we're very excited to have all of our vendors here today. We've got folks here from legal aid, we have greenhouse ministries, we have just about anything you could think of as far as a resource in the community that might be helpful to our seniors. We even have a dog obedience trainer here, which is very exciting, and they brought the dog. We just want our seniors to know about different resources in the community that they need, maybe now or maybe in the future, or maybe needs for their family. We have caregiver resources here today. We have a place that does hydration, and sometimes you just might need to go get an IV to become hydrated. So just a little bit of everything. We actually have some folks here that are able to work with people with low vision. You don't necessarily have to have no vision. Sometimes if your vision is just poor enough, it's hard to do everyday things that those of us who see well don't think about. They have everything from ways to fill out envelopes, tools to help you in your kitchen so that you can continue to cook, prepare meals. They have gardening tools. I mean, just all kinds of things that, again, people may not know are available until you start looking for them. So we want to bring those things here to the center so our folks can find out about them, maybe even before they need them.
Seniors also got the chance to meet some of our local police and fire officers.
Well, being a part of the city of Murfreesboro, we love to invite our brothers and sisters in the city. So we do have the fire department guys here, we have the police department here, the health department with the county, UT Extension, a lot of these folks that we work with on a regular basis. We have Centerwell here, which is a new health facility for anybody age 65 and over. We have folks here that can help you find a Medicare plan. So again, from insurance to vision to helping your dog, all those different things we've got going on here at St. Clair today. Our firefighters a lot of times will have things, again, for your home that can help you possibly prevent a fire. Our police department can tell you some of the different things that they do in our community other than just out there doing the things that people normally associate the police department with. They are here to help their community, just like St. Clair is. So again, we want our seniors to become more comfortable being around them, to put a face with that group. We feel like that's very important. These are some fine folks, and we just want our seniors to get to know them better.
Among the vendors were companies that offer support and encouragement to caretakers.
Well, good morning. I'm Jim Trasport, and this is
Kim Wilson.
And we're representing We Remember You. This group is an organization locally here that helps caregivers and educates them and instructs them on how to work with their loved ones. And we have a special story, Kim and I, in that I met her in an office one day, And I could sense that there was a distress in her life, and I said, are you okay? And she said,
my mom has just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it's been very trying, and I'm just about at the end of my rope, and I don't know what to do. And
so I said, well, I think maybe I can help you. And that's when I introduced her to Remember You. And she learned so much and got connected, and then it's really helped you in what different ways?
Well, it gave me a support group, first off, to teach me different ways to interact with my mother that would be mutually beneficial. It also gave me a group of people that understands what I'm going through, and we can hold each other up. Right. And it's just been a lifesaver.
The thing about Alzheimer's, it's only part of dementia. Parkinson's, frontal lobe dementia, all these different things, even if you've been under anesthesia, there's a certain amount of memory loss that you have. It's educational, it's an instructional group. Remember You. We Remember You is an organization that can help you.
One of our support groups is here at St. Clair, and that is the second Tuesday of every month, which is a great opportunity. We've drawn a lot of new members from the community by being able to be here and draw them in. And it's a great opportunity this morning to be right here down in the cafeteria to also meet with others that might need our services. So we really appreciate this. Thank you.
We try to have a vendor fair usually once a year, but like I said, we haven't been able to for several years. So we just want our seniors to know about different resources in the community. We're glad to have them here at St. Clair. And while we can offer a lot of things to help them enrich their lives, there's still so many other things out there in Murfreesboro or the surrounding area. So we want to be able to share that information with them, again, to help them live the best life they can.
You can find out more about the activities and services offered at St. Clair Senior Center by visiting their page at www.murfreesborotn.gov/St. Clair.
A new monument honors the unmarked graves of enslaved people at Evergreen Cemetery. This monument will serve as a reminder for those who are gone but not forgotten. A new monument honors the unmarked graves of enslaved people at Evergreen Cemetery.
We wanted to put a monument out here in memory of those African Americans that are buried here, as well as the enslaved, that a possibility that they're buried here as well.
Ellen, Khalid, Fanny.
Section M of the cemetery was once the only place where African Americans could be buried in Murfreesboro. Through a partnership between the African American Heritage Society of Rutherford County and Oakland's Mansion, a memorial was unveiled.
This is a victory today, and you can't have a victory unless you've gone through something. Victory is at the end of struggle, so I'm just so elated today.
The original owner of the property was Dr. James Manny of Oakland's Mansion. He sold 20 acres of his land to the city for a new public cemetery in 1872. The graves in Section M are the oldest graves at Evergreen.
The monument itself, putting it up in their memory to let them know that they're gone but not forgotten.
This monument was possible through the dedication and hard work of the African American Heritage Society and Oakland's. Evergreen Cemetery is located on Greenland Drive. For CityTV, Michael Linn White. Murfreesboro native and longtime fire rescue employee Mark McCluskey was recently named fire chief. McCluskey was first hired as a Murfreesboro firefighter in February of 1985 and was promoted to fire captain, fire inspector in November 1998. McCluskey rose through the ranks of MFRD as a battalion chief of special operations in 2018 and assistant chief of operations, then interim chief in July 2022 before being named chief. McCluskey oversees a department of 224 personnel, including 11 civilians. One of the first jobs of the new fire chief was to welcome a group of new fire recruits. Teens from all over Rutherford County learn what it takes to be a firefighter at Murfreesboro Fire Rescue's Teen Fire Academy.
The kids come over, they spend a week with us, they go through fire streams, extrication, search and rescue. They get to go up in the bucket on the truck.
A group of 13 to 17-year-olds get their hands dirty with training exercises supervised by MFRD's staff. Throughout the week, they do training and exercises at the Doug Young Training Facility.
The purpose of this is just to get the kids exposed to what our job's about, and hopefully one day it will turn into a job for them. We have 2 in this class that's going to be eligible to be hired here pretty soon, and they're looking to put applications in.
The reasons for these teens attending the academy vary, but one thing was consistent. They all had a blast, and most agree their favorite exercise was search and rescue.
My favorite thing was definitely the search and rescue, just because it gives you like that adrenaline rush. It's something new. It gives you like almost like the experience that you would get from this job.
While the search and rescue exercise is fun and of course supervised, it's not as easy as it might sound.
We went in the house blindfolded. We didn't know the layout, and you had your partner, and you pretty much just had to communicate and find the victims. Even though the house wasn't on fire, you couldn't see, and it gave you the pressure as if it was.
Knox Hastings, whose father is a firefighter in Mount Juliet, has a more personal reason for wanting to attend the academy.
My dad's a firefighter, and so I wanted to be able to protect my family if there was a fire at our house and he was at work.
Another young man who hopes to one day be a firefighter says he learned just how tough the job can be.
Hard work for sure. Practice every day. Definitely stuff I need to get used to, I guess, if I'm going to be a firefighter. It's a lot of work.
Chief McCluskey is thrilled the academy is such a success and hopes the experience and knowledge these young adults gain will inspire them for years to come.
It's great to see these kids out here. This could be our next generation of firefighters coming up and getting exposed to what our job's about. They have a good time, just like we do on the job, and they know the seriousness of it, and really look forward to maybe hiring some of these people and later on down the road.
MFRD has plans to host another teen academy in the fall and continue to grow their summer camp. For more information on this and other fire department events, visit murfreesborotn.gov. Another important job for Murfreesboro Fire Chief McCluskey was to welcome fire chiefs from all over the state at the 55th Annual Tennessee Fire Chiefs Association Annual Conference held at Embassy Suites right here in Murfreesboro. 52 vendors were set up to display and explain some of the newest technology in the firefighting business. Fire chiefs come to network and attend multiple trainings and courses for the 4-day event. Fire Chief McCluskey welcomed the attendees at the opening ceremony with the Murfreesboro Honor Guard displaying the colors. Murfreesboro's own Battalion Chief Adam Brown sang the national anthem.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It was a great conference, and the city looks forward to hosting the next conference in 2024. There was also 3 notable retirements from the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department. Firefighter Robert Vaughter, after 33 years of service with the department. Also, Assistant Chief Fire Marshal Carl Pease, after 34 years of service with the department. And lastly, MFRD Deputy Chief Roger Toombs, after 35 years of service with the department. The dedication of these 3 retirees have left their department in a better place. To learn more about the Murfreesboro Fire Rescue Department and specifically new Fire Chief Mark McCluskey, check out the city's most recent Insider podcast on the city's Facebook and YouTube pages, hosted by Mike Browning and produced by our own Michael Nevels. On Wednesdays in July at Cannonsburgh Village, families came for games and activities outside at the gazebo.
The name Cannonsburgh Village immediately brings to mind visions of history and celebrations of times gone by. But would you connect the name to coloring, playing games, or puzzles? Well, if you don't, you should. You see, this summer, Cannonsburgh has expanded the activities on the calendar to include a little bit more than usual. And today it began with story time and coloring.
and the white bear is trying to drive the people away out of the north. So the little boy fell fast asleep.
Historic Cannonsburgh Village represents approximately 100 years of early Tennessee life from the 1830s to the 1930s, which makes today's story selection more fitting because it came from the early 1900s. And with that, children of all ages gathered around to listen to the story brought to life by today's storyteller.
Here, I have made so many people happy, said Appleseed John with a smile.
After sharing a story, everyone was invited to spend additional time under the shade trees coloring pictures and playing games. One of the biggest hits was the homemade checkerboards. And for those waiting their turn, it provided the perfect opportunity to look around. Self-guided tours are free. The village is open 6 days a week, and while it hosts a number of planned programs, it's also open to those looking to enjoy the warm weather and take in the sights at their leisure. For more information, check out the city's website where you'll find Cannonsburgh's monthly calendar, their Facebook page, or give them a call at 615-890-0355.
Did you know there are certain things you can't throw away in city garbage bins? Check out this public service announcement I hosted for the Solid Waste Department. Let's take a second and talk about solid waste. Do you know there are certain things you can't throw away in a city garbage bin? In fact, some items can cause damage to our trucks, like causing a fire. Here are some items to avoid placing in a bin. Any electronic items such as tablets, televisions, and computers cannot be placed in a bin. Disposal of televisions and computer monitors can be done at the county's recycling center on Haley Road for a fee. Lithium batteries will not be accepted by the city or county. Construction debris such as scrap lumber, plaster, metal fencing and pipes, carpet padding, area rugs, and plumbing fixtures must be privately removed. Paint cans filled with paint cannot be thrown away. Paint cans can be trashed if they have been emptied and dried out. Help our solid waste team by knowing what you can and can't throw away in our garbage bins. For more information about the city's garbage collection procedures, visit www.murfreesborotn.gov/solid-waste. Did you know if you need to contact 911 emergency but you can't call, you can text them? We are excited that we have partnered with PAWS of Rutherford County since 2022 to bring you the Pet of the Month. August's Pet of the Month is Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy is a sweet 2-year-old treeing walker coonhound. He may be the most independent dog they've seen at PAWS. His stubbornness is comical, not too keen on listening to commands as he would rather sniff around. I believe Johnny to be very intelligent and can trust that he would do so well with some training. Johnny Boy expresses his feelings vocally and is more interested in being inside than outside. He is neutered and up to date on all vaccines. Johnny Boy would love nothing more than to find his forever family and cuddle up with them. For more information about Johnny Boy or other dogs and cats available for adoption, contact PAWS at 615-898-7740 or email them at pawsofrutherfordcountytn.gov. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the city of Murfreesboro or any of the stories you've seen here, you can always visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see any of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.